Hello, this is Joe with Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to follow the show during off-show hours or get in contact with me, here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, it's the first Tuesday of a month, and you know what that means. The creator of How to Barbecue Right, the pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team, and overall great guy, Malcom Reed, will rejoin the show once again. Knocking down 2 of 12. We're already through one whole month of the year, believe it or not. So while everybody was laughing at me a month ago when I was saying the 2024 was rapidly coming to a close, nobody more prophetic than me each and every year on the first show of January, telling you how quickly the year is passing us by, and certainly it is. So looking forward to catching up with Malcom, 35 past the hour. First-time guest. Getting a little outside the stereotypical barbecue grilling live fire box. Instead, we're going professional eater, not competitive eater, although she will take part in eating competitions, but not a Joey Chestnut, if you will, who is constantly in a MLE or Major League Eating sanctioning body. She's doing her own thing, has a huge following on YouTube. 700 and some odd thousand subscribers watching her literally travel the globe and do these incredible eating challenges. And the fact that she stands about 5'2" and weighs maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, to see the amount of food that she is demolishing in typically less than an hour is mind-blowing. I've been a big fan ever since I found her, and I have no idea how I found her on YouTube, but it was probably a suggestion after watching some other type of video that had eating involved with it. And I reached out. It's been well over a year we've been chasing. She did a lot of traveling in the meantime, but she is here for the first time tonight. The creator of the Katina Eats Kilos channel and associated properties, Katina DeJarnette, will join us to close out the first hour. So very excited to talk a bunch of nonsense eating with Katina and see how she does it, all that fun stuff. Then we'll move to the second hour. Like Malcom in the first, our lead in the second is a huge YouTube maven. Got a new cookbook out. We're going to be talking a lot about that. Sam, the cooking guy, will join us, of course. Plenty of other stuff to talk to Sam about, assuming our conversations stick anywhere near where the outline is. We'll talk a lot about food and a lot about the new book. If not, who knows what we're going to talk about, but it will always be entertaining, fun, and frivolous all at the same time. And then closing out the show this evening, we've talked a lot about competition barbecue between various sanctioning bodies. We've talked about new contests that are going to be taking place here in May, while other more established contests are also taking part in the same weekend in May in Memphis. But there's a new sanctioning body, but it's not competition barbecue as far as number of categories. It's only one category. It's ribs. We're going to be talking with Dirk Mullins from the Rib Cook-Off Association. You might have seen him on a few other podcasts here recently as 2023 was coming to a close, but we have him here on this show on 2024 here the first week in February. So we'll talk about where the Rib Cook-Off Association was first hatched in the mind and how you go ahead and execute that, what makes a Rib Cook-Off Association event, that type of an event, what kind of ribs you should be using, how you judge, all that fun stuff, where the look for growth is going to be. So Dirk Mullins closing out the show, and then we'll call it an evening. So Malcom Reed and Katina Eats in the first hour, Sam the Cooking Guy, and Dirk Mullins in the second hour. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat, all at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching the show tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show to watch. You can also go to twitter.com/BBQ Central Show to watch, and you can also watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we do have a new YouTube poll question of the week. And we're asking everybody this, also off the heels of a topic from last week. Which new cooker of the two would you rather have? The GE Profile indoor smoker or the current backyard full-size electric grill? And currently, 73% of you are saying the current full-size electric grill. I'm a little shocked as voting started right off the bat. The indoor smoker had a little bit of a lead. I thought that actually might increase as we get through the open here, but it looks like the full-size electric grill is the one that's out in the lead early, but we got plenty of show to get through here, so we'll track progress and we'll ask all guests, of course. So let's start here this evening, and many of you were writing in over the course of this past week, commenting on the beef talk from the most recent show this past Tuesday. Some of you pulled the trigger on those beef sticks that Jeff Smith had mentioned from Colorado Craft Beef during the first hour last week. Jeff sent me a sample pack of all three flavors. They are dynamite. As far as which one is my favorite overall, the jalapeno's number one, the original is number two, and then the smoke or the pepper smoked is number three, but they're all fantastic. I'm not a big beef stick guy because most of them seem mass-produced, greasy, generally not a great eating experience for me. These had great flavor, definitely no grease, so he was completely right when he said that there's no grease, probably because there's no pork. Jeff also sent me some beef to try. I plan on getting to that soon as well, but appreciate all the gifts that he had sent my way to try out after last week's visit. Also, many of you went over to the Browsy Acres website to check out their full-blood and crossbred Wagyu beef that I have had, and the Wagyu is top-tier stuff. Buy with confidence as far as that's concerned. A lot of you loved hearing the story that Travis shared as well, going from fighter to Wagyu rancher and businessman. And then there was this email that made its way in. Greg, did you know that the Rhonda he's referring to is his wife, Ronda Rousey? Or I got this email. Greg, did you not do research on this guest? You never brought up his wife, Ronda Rousey. You should have her on the show next time, and you should do a little bit more research. Look, gang, of course I knew who his wife was. Yes, I did my research on him, the company. You do any looking on their social media accounts, Instagram specifically, and there's one for Travis, there's one for Browsy Acres. Rhonda's pretty visible on the social media. Same with the videos about Browsy Acres on the YouTube page. She's on there. So yes, I knew the relationship. I know who she is. I knew who she was in the fight game. Few are as big and as popular as she was when she was doing it. She also made a very successful transition over to WWE and was great there as a sports entertainer as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think she's in the UFC Hall of Fame and in the WWE Hall of Fame. Very popular, very talented. I get it. However, I do know that Travis and Rhonda are neck deep into this Browsy Acres company, and they both have an active interest in seeing this thing succeed. It's not some revenue stream that they don't participate in. It's the opposite. They appear to be very heavily involved, perhaps neck deep. Would I take an interview with Rhonda? Sure, who wouldn't? I'm honored that Travis came on the show last week. Let me ask him about what he's doing over there and what the future looks like for Browsy Acres. I think he's set to come on again next month. We'll do 2 segments. We'll get into all the fight talk, all the fighting background, sports background, a love story potentially with him and Rhonda, all that fun stuff. I thought it was right to set a baseline or a foundation for both the companies last week so you know who they were in case they come on in future shows. We have a working background on all of that stuff. Malcom Reed is ready to go. Before we get to him, I will tell you quickly about Pits and Spits. Are you tired of settling for mediocre grilling experiences? It's time to step your game up. Bring the ultimate flavor and the ultimate cooker to the backyard barbecues. Pits and Spits charcoal grills offering the highest quality live fire cooking experience you can get in the market today. Using either wood or charcoal, their solid fuel grills produce those classic flavors you're looking for when you have the time to fire up the grill and cook for family and friends. With a large adjustable fuel tray, you can raise and lower the fire to control and fine-tune the heat. Their take on the very popular Santa Maria-style grill. Check them out online at this website, pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. That's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. And as you're looking at the charcoal grills, you can use promo code Charcoal Central, all one word, Charcoal Central, to check out. And you can save $150 off any charcoal grill that they're selling. And they are lovely, I'll tell you that. Charcoal Central to check out, saves you $150 off. By the way, as you're spelling out Pits and Spits, to go to the website, it's the double T on the Pits and the Spits, pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. And once again, use promo code Charcoal Central at checkout. It'll save you $150 off any charcoal grill, longtime sponsor now of this show. Our pals over at Pits and Spits. We're back with Malcom Reed right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets. For all of your pellet-driven cookers, you visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. In fact, if you're going to purchase, review what they have at cookinpellets.com and then go to amazon.com or walmart.com or lowes.com. Purchase there as well. Same great selection, better shipping rates. Oh my God, a legend is in the chat room. From Huntsville, Alabama, ladies and gentlemen, Phil White. Phil, welcome back in. That guy's stretching all the way back to the podcast days. No one a longer time fan than Phil White from Alabama. Oh, my God. Phil, appreciate you joining the show here this evening. In fact, you've joined just in time because I have first Tuesday of the month regular guest, the pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team and creator of How to Barbecue Right, Malcom Reed is here. Malcom, do you know Phil White from Huntsville, Alabama?
We've probably crossed paths before.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I mean, he's been around a long time. Our guy, Phil, no doubt. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that I would like to get your thoughts on first before we get into some of the topics here this evening. We're asking everybody this. Which new cooker would you rather have? You have to pick between the two here, Malcom. It might be tough. The GE Profile indoor smoker, number one, or the current backyard full-size electric grill? Which one do you pick?
I'm gonna take the full size electric, I guess. I'm not familiar with either one of them, but it sounds interesting.
69% of the YouTube voting public are backing you up, saying that the current full-size electric grill is the one that they would like to have. Of course, I would love to get what their thought process on this. Just to give you a quick background here, last week we were talking a little bit about the CES show that took place a number of weeks ago in Las Vegas. There were a lot of grill companies that showed up and showed out this year, more than I've ever seen go to a consumer electronics show, to say the least. And Christy Vanover from Girls Can Grill were giving us the background on all of that stuff. Well, the GE Profile is an indoor pellet cooker. So it looks similar to a microwave, a little taller, not as wide. You put some pellets in the top, and they burn. It's got its own heating element for the pellets. It injects the smoke into the cooking chamber. And then as the pellets are spent, they drop into a water tank somewhere located in this unit. And then you're wondering, well, my house is going to smell like smoke. Of course, I can already see the question coming. There's a catalyzation process. So the smoke runs through the back of this thing, goes through a special chamber. It cleans the smoke, and it just returns hot air back into the house. So it's a pretty unique thing. Got a lot of rave reviews at CES. The other one is a double burner, full electric. So plug it into the outlet, standard outlet, doesn't have to be 220. And you're supposed to have independent control of the left or right side. So if you live in an apartment or somewhere that would prohibit live fire, you get a full-size experience, but maybe you can skirt those live fire restrictions by using an electric grill. It claims to get up to 700 degrees. So, you know, it's never-ending what's coming to the market these days. Being a retailer, I mean, you know better than anybody.
You know, and I love seeing new innovations, man. Getting everybody cooking. So if an indoor pellet cooker is what it takes, that's fine. But outdoor electric, that'll work too. But there's all kinds of ways to grill and do some smoking. So I'm all for it, man.
Back in 2020, believe it or not, we were talking about you being maybe it was 2022. Now that I'm thinking about it, you were talking about being in the middle of building a new competition trailer. You remember those days?
I do.
You were probably about halfway through the process when we did a segment on the show here. I never did a follow-up. Luckily, a fan of the show, Steve in Tennessee, sent me a note last week, reminded me. He was going back listening to some of the older episodes and said, you never did a follow-up with Malcom on how the trailer came out, if he liked it, if he used it, whatever. So let's take a few moments and take a look back. How did you take delivery of it? And as you sit here in February 6th of 2024, did it meet, exceed, or come under expectation?
Oh, no, man, it's top of the line. I drove down, me and a buddy drove down to Waycross, Georgia, Tracy down at Southern Dimension Trailers down there. And it's a beast. When I first got it, I had a old hickory on the back of it. Then we started cooking on stick burners a little bit and going more classic, going for that real, competition flavor. And so I ended up putting a stick burner on the back. I've got an outlaw pit on it now, and it's down at the farm. I hadn't got it out this year. I guess the last cook I did this year. So it's about time to go out and knock the cobwebs off of it and get it tuned back up and ready to go. But it's got bunk beds and another little twin bed up front. It's got a full-size couch with a sleeper on it. So me and a crew can stay in there. It's got a full bathroom. Of course, I got the full pit on the back, plenty of room to work. It's got some cool lights. It's a heck of a trailer. They build some good ones down there, man.
Any changes that if you could go back as it was still under construction, now that you've had it and you've worked through it a little bit, any additions or changes that you would make?
Right at the tip, it doesn't have an onboard generator, so that would be nice to work that in. And you can always use more storage. So it would be simple stuff. Overall, having a place to get some rest, a place to do all your prep and stay dry and do everything inside, and then a porch on the back where you don't even have to get off the rig. It's a game changer when you're doing competitions all the time. It's probably overkill for what I do now. I'm downside. I like to have some comforts of home if I'm going to be out there. So that's why we've kind of something big enough that we could stay in, fully cook, and then have a porch on it too to keep the smokers out back.
I don't know if I'm just noticing it more over the past handful of months or if it's a real thing, but I've noticed a lot of top line pitmasters and medium level pitmasters getting rid of their trailers. Maybe they're calling it a competition career. Is that something that you're also noticing or not really?
I mean, there's comps now. It's tough. I mean, in our area, the NBN super strong. KCBS is still going strong. He's got a big foothold too. So if you want to cook, there's a cook off every weekend. And I am seeing a lot of people. KCBS kind of a little bit. I don't know so much in the NBN side of things. It seems like it's gaining more steam now, as people are just. I guess some new people are coming back to it, but they're adding contests left and right too. So I don't know. I think there's always an ebb and flow in barbecue. You've seen it, Greg. And just some of them fall in favor, and some of them gain a little popularity. But it's always. I think people are always going to be cooking. You see it industry wide. The barbecue is it's here to stay. It's mainstream.
Are you surprised that NBN is coming back as strong as it is? I've always remembered it as, Myron Mixon was always winning Team of the Year, and when he wasn't winning Team of the Year, Melissa Cookson was winning Team of the Year a lot of the time. And it was still regional, but it seemed very regional. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if there was like some politicking issue going on, but it almost seemed like it went away and blew up and all this stuff. But now I remember Mark Williams filling in for you a few times last year talking about the increase in NBN that he was doing. He was doing very well on that circuit. So is there something you would point to say why it's gaining steam again?
Format, and all of a sudden it's affordable. Back in the old rules before they made some changes, you had to buy a ton of meat. You had rounds of on-site judging plus blind boxes for 3 categories. And then you had the finals. So you were cooking a ton of meat. Well, now they've got it to where you can cook butts. You can buy as many ribs. You don't have to cook all 3 categories. You don't have to cook that hog category to win $1,000. So, the money to put into it's not as bad anymore. Entry fees are okay. And, they're getting a lot of local people. So it's kind of a local man's contest too, I think. You're not spending all the money and stuff that it's where KCBS is kind of going. And, I'm sure they're going to make some changes. So we'll see how it goes.
Super Bowl's coming up this weekend. We're both big football guys. Neither of our teams made it again this year. So good luck to us next year. We'll see about that. What's on the menu for Malcom Reed? I know we're both big wing guys. We've talked about that ad nauseum over the past number of years, but what else is on the menu for you guys?
Absolutely. We always do wings. I can't have a Super Bowl without doing wings.
No doubt.
Got into these little sliders, man. I love making them where you take the dinner rolls and you split them in half and you load them up with meat and cheese and put a little melted butter on. They're so easy, but they're so good. And, those big, I don't know if you got the big Nathan's Colossal dogs yet, the quarter-pound hot dogs?
No.
They are so good. They only come like 4 to a pack. They're like $5. So it's expensive for a hot dog. But it is it's a man-sized hot dog. And so I usually do chili dogs or something like that, something to go with it, kind of ballparky themed food, but something you can grab a beer and get back in front of the TV so you don't miss the commercials, so you don't miss all the, the action of the game.
Do you have a chili recipe?
Oh yeah. Heck yeah. I got several chili recipes. I get, Shell kicks my teeth in with her white chicken chili whenever we have a contest. I do it both ways. I recently did one no beans, and people gave me flack over. If I put beans in a chili, I catch. If I don't put beans in it, I catch hell over it. So you can't please everybody. But I love chili.
What's your go-to recipe?
My go-to is I'll pound of ground beef, pound of sausage, and then I'm going to add tomatoes. I like using diced tomato. I like using tomatoes because you get some of the spice, some of the chilies in there. I've got a chili seasoning I use, but I grew up, my mom always used the packs. Grocery store, and you buy a chili pack, and that's what you season the meat with. So usually, on mine, I'll put a couple tablespoons per pound of meat. It's super simple. Cook it down. I add the beans at the end when I do put beans. I don't like the beans to get so mushy, so I like them still to have some texture. So they go in about the last simmer. But to me, chili has to develop flavor, Greg. So I'll start. I'll cook the meat, then I'll throw the vegetables in there with it, the onions, garlic, let those sweat down. Depending on how much fat's in there, I might drain it, but I like cooking those onions and raw vegetables with the meat so they pick up that flavor. So when you do drain it, you don't lose that flavor. And then I just go building it with the tomatoes. If I add any liquid, it's usually beef broth, Worcestershire, maybe a squirt of ketchup or a pinch of sugar because you need a little sweetness to balance out that acidity.
Yep.
And it's a classic chili recipe, super easy, and it's dang good this time of year.
All right, for 1 minute, let's go full ESPN, break down the game, and tell me who's going to win.
Oh man, that's a tough one, man. I don't want to have to pick the Chiefs, but something tells me that the NFL wants the Chiefs to win. And so when I went to the game this year, the only game I went to, they went to Minnesota, the Chiefs came up there and beat the Vikings.
Yeah.
And so I don't really care for the Chiefs. But that being said, pull out a miracle. I mean, if McCaffrey has a good day and Purdy don't make any turnovers, I think they're both got good defenses. I think it'll be a low scoring game. I think you're probably going to see Travis Kelce score a touchdown. McCaffrey may get one or two, but it's going to hinge on the defense that can stop them and create those turnovers.
Yeah, I think if Kansas City shows up with that defense that they showed up with 2 weeks ago, or what will be 2 weeks ago this coming Sunday, they're going to be tough to beat. As far as who to pick, I've learned enough. In order to be the man, you have to beat the man. And I can't possibly, in good faith, bet against Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Cleveland Heights guy, by the way. And that team is playing really good right now. They were really not that great, maybe even mediocre, a little bit worse than mediocre through the regular season, but the cream rises to the top, and they're playing their best football right now, so I would be foolish to bet against them, but we'll see how the game plays out. Are you following the guy on Instagram that's eating raw chicken every day? Today's day 19. Has it hit your algorithm?
I haven't seen that, but I'm going to look now that you mentioned it because that guy – explain that, Greg. What's your take on that?
I wish I knew. I think – so, I mean, the account's been open for 19 days. I did a report on this guy last week, and at the time of the show, he had 220,000 followers, something like that. Again, so that was within 11 days or 12 days. Now we're at 19 days. He's just short of 400,000 followers on Instagram. I believe he's trying to make some type of a claim that eating raw chicken isn't as unhealthy or dangerous as science says it is. And he's the whole take is day 19, eating raw chicken until I get a tummy ache. And he has raw chicken breast or a leg. But he's not done there. It's the chicken eating. And then he drinks the chicken juice some of the times. And then he's always drinking raw eggs on top of it. I've never seen anything like it. It's totally insane. If it's a ploy to get followers, he's winning the game because I've never seen an account blow up like this that wasn't illegal or dangerous. This is probably dangerous. And he's just doing an incredible raw chicken experiment is the Instagram handle that you're going to have to go to. And then you tell me what you think.
Oh, I already know. I've been chicken sick, and it is no fun. It's a week of horror.
Yeah. And
he must be blood chicken or treating that chicken that we're not seeing some kind of way, or he's done some kind of switcheroo on it because, man, I'm not saying every piece of chicken has salmonella, but it is a proven scientific fact that it does carry it more so than most meat. So take that for what it is.
I'm not doing it.
I would never do it. I would never do it.
We'll leave it to him. He's obviously the professional in proving everybody wrong. A couple minutes left here, Malcolm, and wanted to see where the update is on this particular item. Have you put in your application for Memphis in May 2024?
We have not.
No.
I'm not decided, Greg. I don't know if I'm going to cook, man. We may just ride to spectate.
So you haven't put in your application for Smoke Slam?
I haven't put it in for any of them. So, yeah, so I may just bow out.
Now, wait. Let me throw my pitch. By the way, I don't have a dog in the fight, and I could care less. I mentioned last week in the show open, this year would be the year to break away from Memphis and May. And I'm talking to everybody that isn't named Jack's Old South or Big Bob Gibson's, because they have a real vested interest in winning just so they can say they have more than the other guy. Everybody else should break away and go do Smoke Slam, because this year is going to be the easiest one to win, and you can bank a minimum of $65,000. You get $15,000 for the category win in the major meet, and then you get $50,000 if you win the overall. If you win some of the extra ancillaries, you get additional money, and you get a trip to go to, or you get a ticket to go to World Food Championships if you want, but you don't have to. I think this is the year, Malcolm. You go, jump over to, whatever the dark side is, but do it, make some money. I think you could win this.
I'd like the chances, but
you like winning, Malcolm. I know you.
I like winning, yeah. I like winning. There's no doubt about it. I like winning. Who don't like that much money?
Yeah.
But Greg, I'm not. These two contests are going to go off without a hitch, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenge for both of them. Somebody's going to fail. I don't know which one it's going to be. I wish everybody good luck. I hope they both contests are slap looking. The crowds are great at both of them.
Yep.
But it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to do two contests same weekend, city of that caliber. But who am I? I'm just a barbecue guy, man.
Well, one of the biggest out there, no doubt about it, with 1.67 million YouTube subscribers, perhaps more than that, even as we're broached into February now. You can go to howtobbqright.com and see what Malcolm's up to. You can also follow him at the same social media handles, and you can find him here the first Tuesday of every month. Malcolm, always appreciate the time, and we'll see you in March, pal.
Hey, good to see you, Greg. We'll see you next month.
All right, pal. Malcom Reed right there. No application into Memphis in May. No application into Smoke Slam, and the controversy continues to build as we figure out who's going to be making the leap, who's not going to be making the leap. It's anybody's guess at this point. I will continue to remain steadfast in my take that any team that goes to Smoke Slam this year, this is the year to go. Even if you're a Memphis in May allegiant, you can go to Smoke Slam this year and have your best shot at winning major money. $65,000 at a minimum? Okay, well, at a minimum if you win everything. So that means you've won a major category in the whole thing. So 50 and 15 is 65. Plus additional money potential. It's a lot of money. I don't know what you guys are up to. Did you hear Malcolm say he didn't know how both of these can exist and not have a problem? We'll keep a touch on that as well. All right, Katina Eats Kilos is ready to go. Before we get to her, I will talk to you quickly about Primo Grills. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We also love that you can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday ceramic cooker lineup? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in a round ceramic cooker isn't very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo Grills and the game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. When you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to cook on a Primo. 6-0. They also have the accessories that you want, the Primo Grill rotisserie, the Primo Grill pizza accessory. They have the griddle insert now, everything you want. You can now spend more money on accessories than you would if you just bought a new Primo XL, because that's what it's all about. Only sold through dealers. PrimoGrill.com. Find the dealer near you. Visit them in person. Hug and touch all the different sized ovals, and then buy the one that best fits your needs. Follow them on Facebook and the Instagrams. Who's ready for a Primo? Mine's outside. PrimoGrill.com. We're back with Katina Eats right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we thank Malcom Reed for joining us last segment. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via the Bluetooth. If you have smart speakers in your home, there's a good chance that Fireboard is integrated with both of those already. You can find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. Check out all the cool videos they're doing as well over at fireboard.com. The one thing we love the most after we finish cooking our delicious live fire meals is eating them, which leads nicely into my next guest, who eats and eats and eats. And where normal humans might stop, she presses through and eats way more. She's made the move to the Midwest, South Midwest, and has just recently landed in Nashville, Tennessee, as a self-titled professional eater and someone who also appreciates some good barbecue, of course. I'm excited to welcome a first-time guest and the creator of the Katina Eats Kilos landscape, Katina Eats. Am I saying the last name right, Katina?
Hey, yes, you sure are. Yep, perfect.
And any relation to the Desjarnettes in Chagrin Falls, Ohio?
Never heard of them.
You wouldn't.
I don't think so.
It's if you only knew why you are not related, but same last name, nevertheless. We have a
Are
YouTube.
they like axe murderers?
Not to my knowledge, but a whole different reason we can talk about off air. We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody watching, and of course, all guests. I'll ask for your off-the-top head answer here, as you might not be totally entrenched into the live fire culture here. Of the two new cookers that I'm about to tell you, which one would you rather have? The GE Profile indoor smoker or the current backyard full-size electric grill?
Ooh, I'm going to say the indoor smoker. I really love smoked foods. Had a
All
Traeger
right.
before. It was pretty good.
31% are saying the indoor smoker by GE. 69% are saying the full-size electric grill. So we'll see how the rest of that poll plays out here through the next hour and change. As I'd mentioned, you're the Katina Eats Kilos landscape owner doing all the really cool food challenges. Quick background on you, since it's your first time on the show. Maybe folks aren't as familiar with you as I have become. Where are you from originally, and have you done anything, previously, professionally, before you got into the whole YouTube and eating stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually originally from Spokane, Washington, and I got into professional eating following doing a bodybuilding show in 2019. So I dieted down for this bodybuilding show and started kind of watching YouTube videos to kind of fill my insatiable hunger that I couldn't really fulfill, not being able to eat very many calories. And I kind of went down this rabbit hole of food challenges. And by the time the show had wrapped up and I was needing to put on weight again, I decided I wanted to go out and try one of those food challenges. So I grabbed a camcorder and took it with me to my first ever food challenge. And it was really easy for me. I wanted dessert afterwards, and kind of the rest is history there when it comes to my eating career.
Is there a lot of food challenges out in Washington? As I sit here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, I couldn't sit here and name perhaps even one food challenge that is available at a restaurant for me to even go try. Is that like a West Coast thing?
No, actually, there's a lot. You would be surprised. I haven't personally done any in Cleveland. I believe I've done one in Columbus, but yeah, there's not really always like really obvious challenges. Sometimes restaurants don't really have them outwardly advertised. You kind of just have to be in the know, but other restaurants will advertise them pretty openly. But to answer your question, Spokane didn't have a ton of challenges, and so I eventually started to travel because Spokane itself maybe had 7 or 8 that I was capable of attempting. And so I began to kind of travel. I went over towards Seattle, then eventually down into California. And that's kind of how I built up a pretty big base of challenges.
When you were in Columbus, were you
Mhm.
at the Thurman Cafe eating the Therminator?
I did not get a chance to
Oh,
do the Terminator, no, but I did a barbecue challenge, and I should have
oh,
done my research ahead of time. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, that is terrible.
hmm.
It was a couple years ago. I was on my way to a eating contest, actually, and I stopped in the city and did a barbecue challenge there. Oh, man, that's terrible that I forgot the name of the restaurant.
How do you get to Nashville?
Nashville kind of just happened on a whim. Randy Santel is also a professional eater, and my boyfriend, we were just kind of sitting down and decided that Nashville was a really cool, centrally located city to be in with really good food, a lot of fun, and really easy access to international travel, and a really good home base for all of the travel we plan on doing as far as food challenges and then perhaps like speaking events or something in the future. And so, yeah, Nashville was what it was. We came and visited, fell in love with the city, and moved almost immediately.
A lot of great sports teams, a lot of great
Yes.
music, a lot of great nightlife. I mean, you're much younger than me, so you can probably still enjoy that without, having severe repercussions the next day. However, also home of some world-class barbecue. So if you're not in the know with these names, I would say number one, Peg Leg Porker in Nashville is legend. And Martin's Barbecue, Pat Martin's the pit master there. I think he's got a couple different locations at this point. Is more your whole hog, like
Oh.
traditional open pit barbecues. So those are going to be the two I'm throwing out right off the top of my head: Peg Leg Porker and Martin's Barbecue for you to try. I don't know if they're into doing potential food excursions or not, but just on your own to go have some great Nashville barbecue, get indoctrinated there. Those are the places that I'm going to recommend. Any other places that you've eaten already that have tripped your trigger?
I've only gotten to do the really, I guess it's kind of considered a bit of a tourist trap, but I really enjoyed it. Edley's barbecue, I got to
Mm,
try, and I actually thought it was really good for being kind of more catering towards tourists. I had their turkey platter, and it was exquisite. I don't normally go for turkey, but I was talked into it by the staff, and oh my gosh, I was pretty blown away. And they have amazing banana pudding too. Not that
mm.
that's necessarily barbecue, but
Well, I'll tell you
chef's kiss.
what. Uh, Banana pudding to me, that either puts you to a 10 or keeps you at a 9. So
Oh,
if the
I so
proteins
agree.
are good, you have really good sides. If you don't come out with world class banana pudding,
Mhm.
you're just okay for me, dog. I mean,
It was
that's a
chock
strike
full of Nilla
against.
wafers,
Oh,
which is key.
yeah. So you find that you can eat a lot after you're trying to now calorie up from this competitive bodybuilder thing that you were doing. Did you have a
Mhm.
proclivity for eating large amount of food even before that? Like, did you know you were an eater, or you didn't
Yes,
find out
I've
until after
always
this?
been able to eat, like,
Yeah.
obscene amounts of food, and one of my favorite stories is one my dad likes to tell. I guess I was about 6 years old, and he took me to a Checkers or a Rally's, one of the 2,
Mhm.
and he had coupons, so he got us both, like, a big meal, and I dug into my burger and fries, like, ravenously, and I had finished the burger and fries and was, like, halfway through the drink. My dad had only had, like, a couple bites of fries, and I looked up at him and I said, "Daddy, can I have another one?" And he goes, I was worried from that moment on. So he
Mm.
was not shocked at all when I called him and let him know that I was becoming a professional eater full time.
So let's talk about that term, professional eater, because I have had years ago the premier competitive eater, Joey Chestnut. Are these interchangeable terms where, like, a lot of times in my industry, we fight that barbecue and grilling are used interchangeably when a lot of us feel that they are independent terms? And I'm not going to bore you with why. But is competitive eater and professional eater different?
I think it should be considered different. A competitive eater competes up on a stage against other people, other competitors, in an attempt to win versus other competitors, like a race. So it would be like Joey Chestnut versus Jeff Esper. I won't bore you with a bunch of names, but it's going to be versus somebody else. Whereas a professional eater, it's you versus the restaurant. And I always like to compare what I do to the old TV show of Man versus Food, just because a lot of people have seen it. It's been around. The reruns still play to this day. So it's just me versus the restaurant or their menu. And really it's me versus myself and what I think that I can accomplish in the time limit given. So it makes it a lot more, I guess, rewarding, because you're not like being vicious against anyone else. It's just like, here's the food. Let's see if I can finish it.
Outside of Man versus Food, are you a trailblazer of sorts as far as professional eaters are concerned? Or would you say you had mentors or idols as you were looking to make your own mark?
That's actually a really good question. I would say I'm maybe a trailblazer on the female side of professional eating, but there were still women ahead of me, just maybe that didn't do it in like kind of a similar style as I did. I kind of took bits and pieces from mentors and kind of figured out how I wanted to edit my videos, how I wanted to kind of present them and the style that I wanted that was engaging. So when I was watching videos leading up to my dieting leading up to my bodybuilding show, I wanted to basically duplicate what was entertaining me. And so I kind of just use, I like to say, good artists borrow, great artists steal. And so I took kind of all my favorite things from all these different videos I was watching and just put them into my own videos. And that was kind of how I dove into it. And so, yeah, I'd say it's kind of a mix of being led and also trying to kind of start my own thing as like a female in the industry, because there's really not very many of us.
How did you know that YouTube would be a way to build a following and be able to engage with them in such an intimate way?
You know, I didn't think that YouTube would be like a thing. When I took that camcorder with me to my first restaurant challenge, I was like, oh, it'd be fun to just kind of catalog this and see what happens. You know, maybe post the videos, maybe, 12 people will watch or something. And it was kind of shock and surprise when the channel kind of took off. And really it's thanks to the community of people that were ahead of me that were really supportive, shared my videos, gave me shout outs, and kind of like nurtured our community more, just because there's not a ton of us out there doing what I'm doing and what, professional eaters in general do. It's just not a big community at all, as you can imagine.
Are you picking places specifically to eat, or because of the popularity that you have earned and worked so hard to build, are places reaching out to you and saying, hey, Katina, this is who we are. We'll fly you in. We'll take care of some expenses. You eat this thing, you don't have to pay for it. Like, how does that whole operation, how did it start and where is it now?
Oh, it's most of the time it's us kind of approaching the restaurant, because these are pre-existing challenges that we seek out and we try and do. So there's a big database that we have that my boyfriend actually created, and it's called foodchallenges.com. And it's a global database of every food challenge that we know about that exists in the entire world. And people will reach out and help us add to this database. And so we'll go through that database, and sometimes they're outdated and the restaurant is unfortunately closed, especially post-COVID times.
Yeah.
Tons of these restaurants have closed or discontinued the challenge. So we'll kind of swing and a miss a lot. But other times it's like you call up and they're like, of course, we've still got it. And we're able to go in and try the challenge. And then there's other times where, yeah, restaurants will reach out and be like, hey, we would like to start a challenge. Would you guys help us design a challenge and help us design something that would be really attractive to customers to maybe give it a shot? As you can imagine, if you set up a food challenge, it can be really lucrative for the business, because and especially if you have somebody who guinea pigs it, be a small female, imagine all the men folk out there that think if she can eat it, I can eat it.
Yeah.
And so they'll see that and they'll pay that premium to maybe win a shirt or a gift card to try the challenge. So it makes it really fun for patrons and the restaurant as well to host those.
From a preparation standpoint, I'm dying to know. So obviously you can just eat a lot, but is there training? I remember Joey telling me his training regimen leading up to a Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest, and it blew my mind. What kind of training are you doing, or is it not anywhere near the same?
So first of all, like all hail Joey because he is an absolute legend. I don't have to eat as much as he has to eat in that one amazing contest that he's doing. In that 10 minutes, he is putting in almost 20 pounds of food, and that is absolutely insane. I could never even dream of putting in that much food. So my training regimen is like way like baby food compared to that. So all I really do is my favorite way to train, and because I like to stay as lean as possible and healthy as possible, is I'll do a really, really large salad. So like maybe a 3-pound bag of lettuce. I'll throw on maybe a pound of lean protein, maybe like another pound of some other mixed veggies, and then maybe like a low calorie Greek yogurt for like a sauce. And then add like a 2 liter of soda on the side. So then in total, I have about 7 to 8 pounds of total volume going into my stomach to help stretch me out, which gets me ready for a challenge. Because usually the challenges I attempt are anywhere between 5 and 8 pounds. And then once we are on like a food challenge tour per se, the challenge before the next challenge is training. It kind of self-perpetuating, I guess, if that's the right term. It just kind of keeps going.
Have you ever gotten into a eating event? And it's great. So go watch the videos. You know, you do the great build up, like leading into the eat, and then you drop the catchphrase, put the hair back, and all of a sudden you're off and eating. And I'm always freaked out by the fact that even after 10 minutes, like most of the food is gone. I'm like, holy shit, like there's no way I could do that. You know, when I was watching you do the pizza challenge in Iceland or wherever you were, there's, you know, the pizza, there's the beer, and like my head is spinning going, how does she do this? This is your thing. I mean, obviously you're very good at it. You ever taken a bite, one bite, and you're like, fuck, there's no way I'm going to do this. You can tell because you're the expert and you know your body intimately that whatever's just happened within one bite has effed you right off the bat.
I wouldn't say within one bite. Sometimes you kind of know, especially with like a pizza challenge, that eventually something's going to get really, really chewy. And I get like jaw fatigue really easily. I have a little bit of like TMJ, so it'll kind of lock up and kind of get sore. And so when I get like really deep into like a cooling down pizza challenge, I'll kind of know like, oh, this is going to be tough as this goes on. I might not make it. So I've kind of been worried with that. And then there's only been a couple instances where I just genuinely disliked the food, just personal taste. Everyone else seemed to think it was wonderful, and I just personally didn't care for it. And that has kind of led to some unfortunate losses just because I wasn't into the food. And that's kind of a bummer when that happens. But usually I try to be as polite as possible because there's a reason it's on the menu and it must be good. And it's just my personal take that I wasn't into it.
If you look over the history of your eats, would you say the vast majority of them have been either at your expectation or easier, or is it the other way?
Ooh, I would say they're mostly at expectation. Sometimes harder. I would say, as opposed to being easier, harder, I'll usually probably be more on the cocky side than anything else. I'll look at something, I'll be like, oh, that looks like it's pretty doable. And I'll get there and, I'll be, a quarter of the way through and I'll be like, uh-oh, I'm in over my head. And so really have to kick it up a notch. Just chatting and with the crowd that'll sometimes show up, I'll kind of get distracted and not be as focused as I should be. And you really do have to focus because like you were saying, like in that first 10 minutes, I do a lot of eating. That first 20 minutes is key to doing the most eating before your brain kind of catches up with your stomach and is like, uh-oh, we're getting full. You want to be way ahead of where you want to be at that 20-minute mark because almost everybody hits the wall right about there. So yeah, when I'm not focused, it's not good.
So how much of it is mental and how much of it is physical? Because, I mean, you just kind of touched on it a little bit. When I go to this place for all-you-can-eat crab legs up the road, when I go in, we sit down, I tip the waitress $50 right off the bat. I said, never, ever have me have an empty bucket of crab legs. I have to have something in my mouth all the time. And I'm tipping you right, and I'll tip you at the end, but this makes sure that we're all on the same page. So as long as I never stop, I'm okay. And then at some point I can call it quits because I feel like a slob and, I'm done after $50 or whatever it is. For you, how much of, as you're hitting the wall, is then a mental thing pushing past it and then a physical thing pushing past it?
I know that this isn't good math, but I would say 100% and 100%.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to describe, because at one point it is physical, because there's only so much you can physically cram into your body. But
Yep.
at the same time, it's 100% mental, because there your brain will be like, oh, I don't want this. This doesn't taste good anymore. I don't need to do this. It's still going to make a great video, even if I lose. And then the other side of your brain is like, do it for the kids. And the other side of me is like, I don't want to vomit in front of 100 people that are watching me live right now. There's all sorts of stuff going on in your brain. And so you have to kind of talk down the demons, talk up yourself, and think your way like through the pain. It's very much like a sporting event, even though it's not sports. You train for it, you get to the event, you have to be physically prepared, but then you have to mentally kind of know your good strategy to finish strong. It's really deep.
No, yeah.
I'm kind of geeking out about it. It gets kind of deep.
Have you ever had a involuntary reversal of fortune?
Yes. Unfortunately, luckily I haven't done any like straight up in front of people. I've been able to skedaddle in time, but yeah, it's pretty embarrassing when that happens. But I guess that means I was putting forth full effort.
How big of a crowd will you eat in front of? Because we don't really get a pan shot of how many people are in this city or that city. Is it hundreds and hundreds?
Yeah.
Is it more like 10 or 20?
It kind of depends. I think one of the bigger events had just about 100. Probably the finale video in Australia, which was actually a barbecue challenge. It was
Yeah.
a massive barbecue platter
Yeah.
challenge as the finale video for Australia. That was, I would say, nearly 100 people came out to support Randy and myself. But I would say an average would be closer to about that 20, maybe 20 to 40 mark. It can be quite a lot of people. A lot of families will come out.
Is it weird to have people show up live and watch you eat?
I thought so at first, but I really enjoy it now, because before doing events, Randy Santel is kind of the one who started doing the events. And then when we started dating, he was like, well, we're going to tour together and stuff like that. And before doing that, I had never gotten to put faces to the numbers. So I had all these subscribers on YouTube, but I never really got to meet them. And so when we would host these events, you get to meet everyone that's watching you, and all the age ranges that are watching, from little kids to really old, like sweet little old ladies that you would never think would watch an eating challenge. And it's really cool. And you get to talk to them. And yeah, it's really not weird, because sometimes you don't know these people's stories. Sometimes they're eating as like they're watching you eat because they can't themselves, or they're watching you eat because they're also on a diet, or maybe they're just a really big foodie. You don't know the story, and it's really interesting to hear everyone's point of view on why they find it entertaining.
So the eating on YouTube and social media stuff, looks like you stream like video game stuff on Twitch, which is obviously
I
pretty
do.
popular. This is all like how you're making money?
Yes, correct. Yeah, it's mostly ad revenue.
Yeah. You make a
Yep.
decent living doing this?
I'd say I'm pretty comfortable,
Yeah.
more comfortable than I thought I would be doing this. But yes, I'm very, very lucky, very blessed that I have so many people supporting me and watching all the videos.
What's the 5-year plan?
Ooh, so I'm actually approaching year 5. Actually, yeah, year 5 is coming up. So April will be 5 years in. But 5 years from now, I'm hoping to be doing probably a bit more like food tourism, less food challenges necessarily. So I think I would rather kind of get in the nitty gritty and kind of find some cool hole in the wall restaurants to start to promote. When we were traveling abroad, especially throughout Asia and stuff, there were so many really cool places that I would have loved to have showcased on video. But with my channel primarily being food challenges, it just didn't seem right at the time. But if I make I think a concerted effort to slowly kind of transition into maybe alternating between like food tourism and food challenges, I think I need to start doing that and not have to really push myself insanely hard on eating all this food, just really highlighting exceptional eats globally.
No production company gets in touch with you and talks about putting a TV show together, or they have and it's not been the right fit?
We've been reached out to, but things fell through. So yeah, we've had a pretty major network reach out and want to do something, but then we got like all the way through all this stuff. We did all these auditions, and then just nothing ever happened. So is what it is. That's showbiz, I guess.
Are you following the guy on Instagram that's eating raw chicken every day?
No, that sounds really gross.
How the hell did this guy hit my feed? I don't understand. He's got like so it's 19 days is today. He's been eating raw chicken for 19 days in a row. Also drinking raw eggs, raw chicken juice, the whole 9 yards. He's got damn near 400,000 Instagram followers in 19 days. But this is something you haven't seen.
That is something I have not
Wow.
seen, but I guess publicity stunts are still publicity stunts, and
Yep.
they're getting people. So there you have it.
Anything you're promoting or your next big eating event that people might be able to pop out and watch you eat?
So I don't plan on really doing anything too live as far as events. Right now, I'm kind of in my dieting phase, kind of getting healthy after a long tour, but there is to look forward to. I am going to be very shortly doing some Nashville food tour videos, and I think I will try and include some barbecue in there. So maybe I'll have to check out that peg leg, right? It was peg leg.
Yep.
Barbecue or maybe Martin, and that would be really fun, and start including that in like a Nashville sort of food tour type video, and then start getting into some more Nashville food challenges. So I should start filming that probably early March, and that content would probably start posting April, I believe.
All right. Well,
maybe even late March.
In the meantime, if you're not following her on Instagram, it's at Katina Eats Kilos, and you can also subscribe to her YouTube channel, which almost 1 million of you are, and that's youtube.com/@KatinaEatsKilos. This has been a great first interview. I certainly appreciate you taking the time here this evening, giving us the background and talking about all the eating. Continued success. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I want to learn more about this barbecue versus grilling thing. I'm intrigued.
All right. Well, maybe next segment we'll talk all about it.
Beautiful.
All right. There she is, Katina Desjardins. Katina Eats Kilos on all the social media and KatinaEatsKilos.com website, and then obviously on YouTube. Go check it out. I mean, it's great stuff. And it's like watching Deadliest Catch. You know what's going to happen, and it's fascinating each and every time. I know she's going to eat a lot, and everyone is new and exciting. It's great. So I appreciate her coming on the show that you probably wouldn't normally do, talking about what she's up to. All right, let's go ahead and wrap the first hour. You stick around, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Well, I can't believe that most of you knew who she was. You know what? Let me take that back. Of course I can. We like eating. She likes eating. It all hits our YouTube algorithms. Except I'm the only guy that's seeing the raw chicken guy. Anybody in YouTube, does anybody see the raw chicken guy without me mentioning it last week? Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. She has 707,000 subscribers. She's doing really well. Joe, what top line revenue is that? I have no idea how YouTube works. You know me and YouTube. We hate each other. We've hated each other for 20 years. I make no money on YouTube. What kind of top line are we looking at that? Yeah, I'm endlessly fascinated with who knew Katina. I thought it was just me and my sister Kate. Drunken Honky knows Katina. Jason Pettis knows Katina. He was just tuning in on a whim. Here's Katina Eats Kilos. How about that? All right, let's wrap it up here. We'll point to the second hour. Refresh your libations. And we will be right back. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate sushi or wiener.
Oh, listen, Liberty, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Welcome to the second hour. Here we are. It's the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about only the most important barbecue and grilling related items as they've transpired over the last weeks, months, or years. The show originating from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
You guys remember when I could hit the high note, right? I said a week ago that the only side effect that I had from the colonoscopy was my upper register was gone. Maybe it's sheer coincidence, but I have to call the procedure place tomorrow to see. I don't have the high register anymore. I need that. Even when I start the show now, I'm like, all right, good evening, welcome to the Really Big Barbecue. I can't say it. I got no upper register. I can't lose that. That's all part of my charm, wit, and wisdom. I need it, right? Still to come on this show this evening, Sam the Cooking Guy, Dirk Mullins from the Rib Cook-Off Association, rounding out the show. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through our video streaming platforms, facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or twitter.com/BBQ Central Show, or youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And we are updating you on the YouTube poll question of the week. See, I can't get there. Which new cooker would you rather have, the GE indoor smoker or the current backyard full-size electric grill? And oh my, we are much closer than we were 45 minutes ago. 55% of you are now saying that the current full-size electric grill is more your jam than the GE profile indoor smoker, which, if you can do the math, is 45%. Only one time did we not have the percentages line up for whatever reason. I did ask if anybody else was getting Raw Chicken Guy in their feed. Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue has seen the Raw Chicken Guy outside of my mention. Jason Pettis also weighed in, saying that he looked up Raw Chicken Guy. Looks like he's been eating raw meat for a long time. He already knows he won't get sick. Is that a thing? Can you just condition yourself to eat raw meat, and it's one of those things what doesn't kill you makes you stronger? So maybe the first handful of times that this guy was eating raw chicken, he crapped his brains out, got really sick, whatever. Can that happen? I don't know if I want to take that risk. Here's what I remember as I was dating my wife at the time. I was here in the city that I happen to live in now, Willoughby, Ohio, but I was then from the mean streets of Bainbridge, Ohio, a township at that point. We drove out, then I'm hanging out late night after the bar. We go to the Wendy's, corner 91 in Euclid, ordered a chicken sandwich of some sort, and I got halfway through it, and then I looked into the sandwich, and the chicken was raw. And then within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I became fevered. I said, we got to get out of here. Like right now, we sped home. Luckily, it was only 5 minutes down the road. I get to what would be now my in-laws' place. Within 5 minutes of getting in there, I'm vomiting the most aggressively I have ever vomited in my life. Hard. And I didn't hydrate well, so it was thick vomit. Let me preface all of this by saying this is going to be gross, so turn it down if you want for the next couple minutes. I'm vomiting very thick stuff. it's so thick that as it's making its way up to about here, I'm choking because I can't get it out and I can't get it back down, and I think I'm going to die, but we're still vomiting and we're forcing it back up. I vomit so hard for so long, all the blood vessels around my eyes popped, but I didn't know it until the next morning. So when I was going to the golf club where I was bartender, I woke up in the morning and looked in the mirror and all the blood vessels have popped around my eyes. I didn't know. Look, I continued to be not the smartest guy ever. I'm thinking I might be on death's doorstep, but we got to go to work. Drove to work. Doctor comes out of his BMW that I know because I hook him up on the bartender side. Say, hey, Dr. Breitenbach, what the hell is going on with my eyes? He looks, he's like, man, oh man. It's like, were you doing anything crazy last night? I said, no, I just ate a chicken sandwich and got sick, vomit. He's like, were you vomiting violently? I said, the most violent. Don't worry about it. It's just pop blood vessels. Go away in a couple days, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, it did. But that's my raw chicken. So that's a long way to go. To say, I don't think I would put myself in a position to want to make myself potentially immune or less exposed to becoming sick by eating raw chicken. So if that's a thing, I don't know. Maybe I don't think I want to do that. And even though he is gaining followers on Instagram at a breakneck rate, I don't think it would even be enjoyable anyway. So I don't think I want to do that. All right. Where do I want to go? 2 minutes. Let me tell you about what's happening this coming Friday on the Best Moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Episode 320, taking you back to February 14th, 2012. This time, who were we featuring? Not somebody well-known in the live fire industry, but somebody well-known in this house. My middle daughter, Madison Rempe. The day before Valentine's Day of 2012, Maddie celebrated her then 9th birthday. Fast forward to next week, in exactly a week, on the 13th, she'll be 21. Hello. Hello, time flies. She sat in at the beginning of the show back in 2012. We talked about some of her favorite barbecue foods. We also talked about if she felt any different from the day before, being 8, transitioning to 9 years old, just with the switch of a clock. And to be honest, I didn't remember that I even did this interview with her until I previewed it a couple weeks ago. So once again, kudos to John Solberg for finding the stuff and making it into the best moments of shows. This one especially just shows me the time, as I had said, is going by so fast. So each year older, it seems the years slip by even quicker. So appreciate what's going on around you, gang, because as I say each and every time, time is fleeting and nobody gets out alive. All right? All right. Now that we all feel better about ourselves, let's make way for our pal, Sam, the cooking guy. But before we do that, we'll talk about Franklin Barbecue Pits. So we know it's a staple item. It's an ornamental item you want to put on the back deck, in the backyard, whatever. It's going to cook great. It's going to hold temperature great. It's got a unique aesthetic about it. You can see the welds. It's going to patina in its own way. It's got its own badge number, all that good stuff. So that's great on the consumer side. You want one, you go to franklinbbqpits.com. Now, if you're a fan of the show and you own a barbecue supply store, now Franklin is trying to build the dealer network here in the colder months. So if you are somebody that's thinking about getting into the barbecue supply business and you're looking for an offset pit to carry, or you currently have a supply company, you carry pits, and you're looking to either add an offset pit to the line or add another offset pit to the line, because maybe you already carry pits and spits, for instance. Now you can have 2 of the premier offsets in the whole marketplace on your store. Go to franklinbbqpits.com, search for the dealer form on the website, download that, fill it out, and then electronically send it back to Matt over at Franklin Barbecue Pits. He will follow up with a phone call. You guys put a deal together. And now you can have one of the most elite offset cookers right there on your showroom floor. It's a silent salesman. I would say order 3 or 4, put one out there and leave it. Let it sell itself. Now you got some in the back. You're not like wheeling in and out. You're without product. You don't want to ever have somebody come in that's looking to pull that trigger and not have the silent salesman on the floor. You don't want that. Close the deal. Now, have them sign on the line which is dotted. FranklinBBQPits.com. That's FranklinBBQPits.com. Fill out the dealer form, and then you're off and running. Become a certified dealer of the pits. They also have a bunch of accessories that you can stock up on as well and complete the whole Franklin Barbecue Pit experience. We are back with Sam the Cooking Guy right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, this portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Available in 3 sizes. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional. It's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. You visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. Also ask them if the PBX special is still out, where you can get a PBX for $299.99 shipped to your door. Ask them. Maybe if you mention the show, they still hook you up if they're a little more reluctant on offering that now. Don't tell them I told you, but just tell them you heard about it on the past show. And see if you can strike up from there. It's the it's the first Tuesday of the month in the second hour, and we are welcoming our pal Sam, the Cooking Guy, back. Hey, Sam.
What's up, my boy? How are you, Greg? Boy?
What was that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you see those balloons?
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. You know, it's not me doing that. It's just my. Wait, hold on. Watch this one. Wait. Hold on.
What the F?
See that?
What is going on?
I've heard about this. I've not seen it actually happen, and I'm not really even sure what system is being used. What is this thing that you use?
vMix.
What is this called? vMix. And when I let me just talk to the audience for a second.
All right.
When I log into this, Greg sends me the link. He goes, link in the email for tonight. So I go to the email, I click on it. It asks me to put my name in, and I put my name in. It's the devil. I mean, I hate your guts. You're a douchebag, that kind of thing. You never comment. I don't know if you even see that.
I don't.
But this thing, hold on. Wait for it. Apparently, I thought was like a TikTok thing or something, or Facebook. I don't know. I don't know how it's happening here, but it's happening here, and now we can all enjoy it.
I think it's a Mac thing, right? You're an Apple guy.
Yeah, I have a Mac. Yeah, I don't know if this will do anything. I'm just trying to make it do something. Hey, how are you, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm great. Can I introduce you to somebody real quick?
I'd love you to.
Let me see how I'm going to do this. All right, joining me now. Joining me now.
Go ahead.
How am I going to do this?
Oh, my God. First time?
No, she's not there. She's not there. Hold on.
She's right there.
It's this one. It's Maddie. Right there.
Hey,
Hi,
Maddie.
Sam.
Hey, Maddie. I love your background. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. Nice to see your face.
Oh, thanks.
Sam, in 1 week, 1 week's time exactly, Maddie turns 21.
No, I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that. Unbelievable. Officially able to drink in the house. Wait, let me ask you a question. Look at me right now. Have you been drinking in the house before next week?
Yes.
Thank you for being honest. I appreciate that.
By the way, her parents know we're not like prudes.
No. I'm sure. Listen, you go to almost any other country, and kids are able to drink. You go to Paris, France. They start drinking wine at an early age. You go to London, in Great Britain. They're drinking beer little bits at a time at an early age, 14, 15, that kind of thing. I would argue that the rates of alcoholism in those countries are less than they are here, because they've learned how to handle, they've learned to deal. And here we're so prudish about this stuff. It's terrible. Way to go, Maddie. And congratulations on turning 21.
Thank you.
Can't wait to hear your best of on Friday.
You really
Yeah.
going to listen to that?
I'm excited for that
Of course
too.
I am.
Yeah.
I listen. Of course I do.
I'm going to listen too. Well, I
What do
just
you mean?
wanted to
I'm
come
a-
on and say hi.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Sam,
I'm a
Maddie's the
fan.
biggest
Listen.
fan in the house aside from me.
I'm a fan of this show, and that means I listen to I listen to everything.
Yeah. Do you
Which,
see?
by the way, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you go.
Do you know who this person is? Below. Oh, I sent
Well,
you the
do
link
now.
earlier, right?
I do
Katina.
now because yeah, wow.
Yeah, she's quite the eater, isn't she?
Just let me tell you something. You want to pay attention and stay tuned for that, because what that little girl can do,
Yeah.
will blow you away.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I watched it. At the end of it, I said to you, I go, I can't believe that she did that. And she didn't look like she was going to handle it very well, but she did.
Yeah, she's a professional eater. She says, Maddie, do you want to leave Sam with anything before we move along here? We're going to talk about his new book coming up.
Oh, no, I just wanted to come down and say hi because I saw you were on.
Thanks.
So
Thanks, Maddie.
that's all.
I love that
Maybe,
you're here. Appreciate you.
Maybe congratulate
Wait,
Sam on the
can I
new
do
book.
this?
I was just going to say that. Congratulations.
There you go.
on
Those
your new
balloons
book.
are for Maddie's birthday.
All right.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I'll give her some more.
Thank
There you go. Happy 21.
Wow.
There you go.
All right. So there's
Okay,
Maddie.
wait,
Yeah.
but before we talk about my book, and yes,
right.
of course I want to. I have a new book coming out. It's Sam the Cooking Guy and the Holy Grill.
Shit.
That
There you
might
are.
be of interest to some of your fans, might not be. It might be too simple for some of the hardcore. Hey, pay attention to your
Yeah,
guest, not
I'm
your
sorry.
daughter.
I got a lot of things
I
going.
saw what you were doing there. Don't do that. I want to send you something. If I can do this, hold on.
Why does
Son
it
of a
work for you?
biatch. Hold on. What you
I
say?
think
What'd you
this
say
thing
there?
has got to work. It's because you have.
I know you're not
maybe an
using a
app.
Mac. I don't know what you're using. Some
Well,
Linux.
I have a
thing.
PC.
What do you got there? PC.
Yeah.
PC, short for piece of shit.
I don't think that's
Piece of-
exactly how
Wait,
it's
no,
spelled,
no.
but all right.
Sorry. Short for a piece of shit.
Yes.
Damn it. Where is this thing I was going to send you?
Oh, first time on the show?
Hold
Okay.
on. No, I can do this. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so let's just talk about something for a second before we talk
right.
about my book. And I
Sure.
know I don't have a lot of time. I'd love to talk about my book. Sam the Cooking Guy and the Holy Grail comes out March 12th. There you go. You got a copy. Would you like to tell them who one of the people that made a quote on the back was?
I don't know if you can see that.
No, it's blurry as F.
Is it? It's me.
But-
I made it.
Greg Rimpey, can I quote you?
Yeah.
In true Sam the Cooking Guy fashion, Sam delivers the book filled with incredibly delicious, creative, and easy to follow recipes supplemented with mouth-watering photographs. It will help you raise your backyard barbecue and grilling game to new heights.
Yes.
Greg Rimpey, host of the Barbecue Central Show. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. You did it so quick, and you're wonderful.
Look, if anybody's thanking anybody,
Yeah.
this is me thanking. I mean, we're going into a love fest, which people either love or hate.
No,
The fact that you have access to the most elite of the elite, and the fact that you reached out to me to ask to write a blurb, or I don't know what the proper term for it is.
I think blurb is probably right.
A blurb
Look, why
for the
would I reach? Why would I reach out to somebody that I don't give an F about?
I don't
or
know.
Care about.
People like big names, and
care
they're
about
worried
big
about
names.
that.
I care about
Obviously.
people that are important to me in my world. And when it comes to the barbecue, smoking, grilling world, you're one of the most important people I know. I'm
Thank
not
you.
kidding.
Thank you.
There's 2 people on the back of the book. You're one of them, and I love you for doing that for me. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the pleasure was mine, and given the time that you had connected to me and asked me to do it, helped kind of bring some levity to the situation we were in. So, most appreciated, no doubt.
Listen, I want your audience to know that we have this once a month relationship on the air, but we have off air I'd say 10 to 15 time a month conversation, text, email,
ongoing,
whatever, ongoing. We talk a lot. I listen back to episodes. And then I'll text you, I'll call you. We talk about stuff. We make fun of Meathead with his book that's never going to come out because he's trying to make it too much. All the things we talk about, that could be a show.
Yeah.
Us, it's like it could be the after show of what you do.
Yeah.
But I have a true friendship with you, my friend, and we've never met, and one day we will.
Yeah.
I have an idea about that, but I'll just leave it for now. But right now, all these nice things I'm saying about you, now I need to bust your balls a little bit.
All right, let's have it.
All right. Let's talk about the way you pronounce this word. W-A-G-Y-U. And you went off on a tangent a year ago, I don't know what it was, about how nobody knew how the hell to pronounce that name. You're the only person on the planet to pronounce it. Say it.
Wagyu.
Say it. Now, it's not what you pronounce it as.
Wagyu?
You say Wagyu.
Wagyu.
Well, you can't even remember.
I don't remember what happened yesterday.
And I've given you shit about it. No, neither do I. I've given you shit about it. I want the audience to know. You try and tell everybody you're so smart.
Yeah.
You're the only one on the planet that knows how to pronounce that word.
Wagyu.
And you say Wagyu.
Yeah.
Like W-A-I-G-O-O. Wagyu. And you've committed. Stop it. That's not how you say it. You say Wagyu.
Wagyu.
And you had your boy on from
Browsy Acres.
Browsy Acres,
Yeah,
right?
Travis Brown. Yeah.
Travis, right.
He said it right.
Listen, he said it one way, and I sent Greg 4 or 5 examples of people pronouncing it the proper way, Wagyu, from the internet. And then I said, you think that your boy from Browsy Acres would have said it properly? And you go, he did.
Yeah.
Which means one of you didn't. So I'm going to send you something right now. Stand by. Stand by. Hang on. I'm going to send you this. I want you.
You're going to send it to me.
No, I want you to play this for everybody. Hold on. Stand by. Shite. Stand by. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Paste. There we go. Okay. You're going to get that in about 10 seconds.
How am I getting it?
Something. Text. And it's an MP4. I want you. It's an MP4. I want you to play that.
All right.
For everybody. Turn the sound up. And this is your boy, Travis.
Yeah.
Pronouncing it. Hold on. You said he pronounced it properly.
Of just doing research and trying to figure out what was the best beef, we came down to Wagyu. The Wagyu.
Wagyu. Sounds right to me.
That's not what you say. I want you to admit right now that Wagyu is not right.
Wagyu is not right.
Wagyu is not right. Thank you.
It's not.
Now, have you known that?
How now?
Now we can talk about.
I didn't know we were going to go tit for tat here.
I've got no. I don't. Listen. I'm. Canadian.
But I might as well.
English. Go ahead.
This is not anything about how to pronounce anything.
No.
Can you tell me why?
What did I do?
Why?
Stop it.
The hell would you put smoked cream cheese? I mean, are we going? Are we catering to the bottom of the barrel?
I remember you hating it.
I mean, what
Listen,
the fuck?
I want you to remember.
If you have to put smoked cream cheese in a recipe, these people shouldn't even be. They don't even know how to read in the first place. It's outrageous.
By the way, can you just show how effing beautiful that picture is?
Oh.
because it's fucking
Yeah,
gorgeous.
like nobody can imagine what cream cheese and rub looks like.
Oh my God! Stop it. Well, how's your newest book doing, biatch?
You know I don't even read. Hold on.
Listen, I know
Let
you
me get-
can't
oh my
read
God.
and you can't pronounce.
I can barely pronounce.
Oh my God!
Wagyu.
Why
Hold
did
on,
I
hold
ask
on.
you to do this?
Hold on. You
Here we go.
didn't. Oh,
I
wait.
want to say something.
So this was my. I was gonna say this is my favorite picture in the book.
Oh,
which
that
is-
grilled cheese.
Yeah, with prosciutto.
Yeah. With prosciutto, as
All
they
right.
say. Listen, let me tell you something. No, that's the recipe. There you go. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That is a prime example of a beautiful block of smoked cream cheese. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell your look. This show adheres to a slightly higher standard of barbecuing, smoking skills. It's not who I write the book for. Somewhere in the beginning, I say, look, if you're a KCBS kind of guy, this book is not for you. This is for regular, everyday civilians. That's where I live. If I know anything about anything in business, it's know your audience. And I know who my audience is. My audience is not necessarily the cream of the crop of the watch as you, right?
In your defense, some
Yeah.
of the most elite barbecue and grilling stars
Yes.
found their way to the smoked cream cheese trend bandwagon.
Listen,
is-
I'm telling you,
It's ridiculous.
when I first
cream
saw it, I
fucking
thought,
cheese.
but when you smoke it, bitch,
No,
it
no,
becomes
no,
a
no,
whole
no.
nother
No, it's
thing.
fucking
why
cream
are you hating
cheese.
it?
It's
You don't like
cream cheese. It's not a
Why do you hate cream
recipe.
cheese?
It's bullshit. It's
Oh my
bullshit. It's
God.
offensive to me as a human that somehow this
You
makes
don't
it
eat
into a
onions.
cookbook.
You don't have any leg to stand on. You like this much of the food world. You have no
Onions.
right.
I would rather eat onions than take part in smoked cream cheese. If you can't figure out how to smoke cream cheese or heat up cream cheese,
Excuse me.
you're
I'd
an
like
idiot.
I'd like to talk.
You can't
about
listen to my show. You're not allowed anymore.
I'd like to talk. Well, then
go ahead.
Goodbye, me every second Tuesday. Let me just talk to your audience for a second.
You have the floor.
Don't listen to Greg. Don't listen to his biased opinion about what he thinks of smoked cream cheese. Cream cheese is delicious. It works in all kinds of recipes. Of course, a bagel and lox and that kind of stuff, it's great. You stir it into a pasta, it's great. You put a little bit, as my mother would do, in some scrambled eggs in the morning, it's fantastic. But when you take it and you score it and you put some rub, whatever the rub is, barbecue rub, the Old Bay seasoning, the bagel, what is the bagel thing on top, whatever it is, when you do that and you throw it in a smoker for a couple hours, it comes out completely different. What does Greg know? Apart from his shirt saying barbecue, that could be the extent of his knowledge.
Could be.
Just do it. I'm telling you. Just do it. It's
a wise
so good.
man. I once learned from a wise man that heat changes things. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, thank you. It does.
All right, give us the. By the way, I love the cover.
Thank you.
If I'm being critical, I don't know how any cover beats the one from the last book where you had your head in between pieces of bread with.
No, I don't
condiments
think
on.
I don't think it does. Other.
This is pretty
But
good.
if
Though.
you, but listen, if you turn to page, hold on. If you turn to inside, go. Oh, Jesus God, go inside a couple of pages till you get to this, and in the book, I
What does it
put
say?
a handful, 7 or 8 QR codes.
All
And
right.
if you shoot that QR code with your phone, it says, here's what the cover almost looked like. And so it's a bit of an Easter egg, but I give you the reveal because we really try to embrace the Holy Grail, Monty Python and the Holy Grail look. And that was the full night outfit. Are you doing that now?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that was supposed to be it. I had a crown, I had chainmail, I had the gloves.
You could get stabbed and it wouldn't hurt.
And even the sword had a whole chicken on it that we decided was covering up the handle. It didn't look like a sword. So there's a bunch of those throughout the book. There's a chimichurri recipe. You shoot that, and I show you how to make a whole bunch of other things with chimichurri. It's fun. It's a playful book. Don't get all wound up about it being a smoked cream cheese in there, which, by the way, you should be making.
Here's what we know. At some point last week, #1 barbecue and grilling book on Amazon.
Crazy.
So,
and it's not even out yet.
If you're not pre-ordered it yet, jump on the bandwagon because everybody else has, and put in your pre-order now. And when will it hit decks?
It's March 12th. And by the way, if
March
you
12th.
go to the cookingguy.com and you click on the Holy Grail book, it shows you where you can pre-order it. But once you've pre-ordered it, you go to another link. You enter the fact that you've pre-ordered it, and you can win a complete set of Cooking Guy knives worth almost $900.
Wow.
And if you don't get that, everybody will get a couple of video recipes that are not in the book. Just a little extra thank you for pre-ordering. So
And
there you go.
Mega grand prize winner, a full box of Wagyu beef.
Jeez Louise.
How about that?
I just want you to say right now to all your audience, I've been pronouncing it wrong.
I've been pronouncing it wrong.
Wagyu.
It's Wagyu.
There you go. Thank
There
you.
you go. All right. Friends?
Hence always friends. Always friends.
Except you're the only one that can make the balloons go up.
There you go.
Give me
that's
balloons.
not for you, buddy.
There you go. Wow.
That's for Maddie.
That's crazy. And that just
That's for
happened?
Maddie.
That's never happened before. That's just happened.
No.
Wow.
Have you upgraded your software or something?
No, I doubt it. It's a new. I got the new computer, but that's it.
Just only this hand works.
It's gotta. Maybe you got to hold them up flat. They're too pointed. You got to have them up more like this.
No, it's like now I can't make it to save my.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
wow,
good.
that's great.
And
Look,
don't forget these.
Go to thecookingguide.com, pre-order the book.
Pre-order the book.
I was worried that we weren't going to get to anything, but we only got the one thing on the agenda. So in March, we will try doubly hard to get through some of this other stuff that I wanted to get to.
You can put one thing on the agenda, and we probably won't get to it.
You know what? It's Maddie's fault.
I love
she
Maddie,
bumped in.
but that's our relationship.
That's right.
It is what it is. Right?
It's planned
Have
until
fun.
it's not planned.
It's never planned. Yeah,
that's right. Sam, always appreciate the time.
Everybody.
We'll see you in March.
Love your audience. I love you.
Love you.
See you next month. I'll probably talk to you in the next couple of days.
All right. Looking forward to it. It's Sam the Cooking Guy, of course. And a quick appearance by Maddie as well. A lot of things going on there. The release of the new book, or talking about the release of the new book. So it's going to land March 12th, so you can pre-order still at this point. We have the Rib Cook-Off Association ready to go. And before we get to them, I will talk to you about Big Papa Smokers. Our friends at BPS have something special just for you, listeners of the show. Whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or a grilling newbie, Big Papa Smokers, your one-stop shop for all things barbecue. From their championship rubs, mouth-watering sauces, essential accessories, they've got what you need to take your food to the next level. Whether you're on the competition circuit or in the backyard, here's a cherry on top. Big Papa Smokers offering the listeners of the Barbecue Central show an exclusive deal. When you use the code REMPE, R-E-M-P-E, at checkout, you get $10 off your next $50 purchase of rubs, sauces, and accessories. Imagine the possibilities. Evaluate your ribs with Big Papa's Sweet Money. Add Big Papa's Desert Gold to your chicken, or better yet, pick up Double Secret Steak and add it to your steak. Head on over to BigPapaSmokers.com and start shopping today. And don't forget to use the code REMPE at checkout. R-E-M-P-E. Claim $10 off your next order of $50 or more. Also, don't forget to check out Big Papa's full line of recipes at cookingwithbigpapa.com. And, of course, follow them on social media for amazing recipes as well. We're back right after this. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
We thanks, Sam, the cooking guy, for joining us last segment. This portion of the show being brought to you by Aladino, makers of the Corojo Reserva line, the Aladino Classic, the Aladino Sumatra, and many more. Trying blends made by Aladino give you a top quality smoking experience. So if you're into premium hand-rolled cigars, if you're not familiar with JRE tobacco, shoot me an email. I have some samples to send out to you, a couple different options. So hit me up first try before you buy, if you will, and you can search their website at jretobacco.com and find a retailer near you. Should have Justo Aroa on the show in early April, I think. We had to reschedule because he was going to be out of town for the date that he had booked, but looking forward to all of the cigar talk that'll be happening here in about a month and a half. Helping me close the show tonight is the creator of the new Rib Contest Association. KCBS has rolled out single meat contests over the past few years, seen some success with those, but this one is the newest on the scene, focused on one of my favorite barbecue meats, ribs. Here to talk about why they created the Rib Cook-Off Association, how it works, and how many of the events are being planned for 2024. First-time guest on this show is Dirk Mullins. Dirk, I apologize. It's not just... Whoa, I'm catching...
Do something to it.
Is there a background window open?
Hello?
You guys there? Hello? Oh, wow. Is there a background window open?
Hello?
We are in the Echo Monster.
Can you
right
hear
now.
us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Turn that off.
Oh, dear.
What?
Well, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No?
Can't hear.
Oh. Do the reconnecting. Reconnect. This would, I don't know what this means, but we're gonna do. See if that'll work out. Do the reconnect. I don't remember the last time we were in Echo Monster, but wow, that was Echo Monster. Should be rejoining us here in just a second. We'll see if that works. I think there's another window open in the background myself, but maybe they'll figure that out. They close through everything. Oh, that's taking a long time to reconnect, though. All right, how about now? No. Oh, no. Headphones into the microphone? Headphones into the microphone?
Yeah, we have our microphone. Can you hear us?
Yes. Yeah.
Can't
All right,
hear.
well... This is unfortunate because they can't hear me give them instructions, so we will go ahead and dump out. Now, podcasters, you're not going to hear any of this, but I'm going to shoot them a quick email, actually. Let me go ahead and make a mark there. Dirk Mullins will send sound. You guys there? Hello? Hello? Oh, no. All right. And it's sounding even worse at this point. That was either the universal I can't hear you sign, or you're going to get lucky when you get home sign. And it's not the latter. It's not the latter, pal. So I sent them off email letting them know that. So, look, I'm not going to bore you with the technology here, but a lot of the USB microphones that you're getting have a headphone port in the bottom or somewhere on the body, and you have your sound output typically going to the microphone. That's why you plug in headphones, and then you can hear everything. And then, of course, the input is the microphone. So the microphone was working 100% well. and they weren't able to hear me, so I imagine the sound was being piped into the microphone as well, and they either A, don't have headphones to hear me, or they will have to figure out how to pipe that sound through the computer, but I believe that would then catch an echo. In either event, I feel not great about this segment. We probably would have to reschedule at this point. Let me go back just in case. You guys there?
Put it down.
You guys hear me? No. All right. And that's going to do it here this evening. Good night, everybody. The good news is I happen to have some emails from past shows and feedback from past shows. So we go to Fred in California. Greg, longtime podcast listener. And while you were talking last week about the guy who eats raw chicken, it reminded me of a guy on YouTube who cooks in a hotel room using the bathroom sink, bathtub, toilet, irons, anything and everything in his hotel room. I first learned about him on another barbecue podcast. Check him out. Search for Barfly7777. Love the show. Love what you do. Regards, Fred. Fred, let me answer these questions and statements and react to these statements successively. The other barbecue podcast that you heard Barfly7777 on was Don't Drop the Tongs podcast, which I'm a huge fan of. Phil the Grill, Kyle, with the last name I'm not going to butcher, Barrel Boy, who's a real radio guy who sounds like Bubba the Love Sponge. Hey, buddy. They do a great barbecue podcast. A little different than this show, obviously, but I'm a big fan. Listen every week. And was it a year ago? I saw this guy do the ribs cook in his hotel room that went mega viral. I think they saw it on Don't Drop the Tongs podcast, reached out, and this guy's been doing media ever since. I just saw him do some other thing the other day. He's doing all sorts of nonsense. He's got to take undercover covert actions because hotels around the country are putting themselves on alert, saying, hey, watch out for Barfly 777. He's going in with costumes on and disguises and stuff because they don't want them blowing up the bathroom and the hotel room. I don't know if they can do that or not, but this is going to be the way it is. All right. Well, they can hear me now. So we're going to go back. We're going to see. Jody.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
All right. So I have good news and bad news. The good news is I can hear you. Hi, Dirk.
What's up?
The bad news is we've chunked through about 5 or 6 minutes of technical issue, and that's not going to do what we want to talk about tonight any justice, promoting Rib Cook-Off Association and all that fun stuff. So it would probably be better for us to rebook, and then we can have the allotted amount of time to talk about the whole background and how you get it. But before we go, I needed to ask Dirk a question, and it's totally self-serving and self-indulgent. Dirk's been one of the longest time fans of the Barbecue Central show that I know of. So, Dirk, how did you find the show originally?
I don't remember, to tell you the truth. I really don't.
It made that much of an impression? Wow, no kidding. I mean, it's
too long ago.
Is the show in any way a catalyst to the Rib Cook-Off Association? I'm only trying to ride coattails, of course.
Of course.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. All right. So I'll resend you a link for another booking, and then we'll get scheduled, and away we go. So I apologize tonight.
Sorry
but
about that.
No problem. We'll get it done. Dirk and Jody right there. And I certainly appreciate the fact they were traveling, so they were setting up in a hotel room to make sure that they could still do the segment. So we will get it locked and loaded here over the next couple weeks and talk about the Rib Cook-Off Association and go from there. Would I have Barfly 7777 on the show? I think so. I mean, if I'm having Katina Eats Kilos on the show, I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying I'll go outside the box. Barfly's pretty interesting. He is doing, I guess, what you would call some sort of barbecue. It's not live fire. I believe that would be highly illegal. So I would be open to it. And we do get outside of the box. So, Fred, thank you for writing in. Number one. And then, what else did he have? Oh, right. Okay. So, Tom in Minnesota writing in, Greg, excellent job by Colorado Custom Beef in describing the beef industry and marketing direct to consumer. You just know they have a good product when they don't have to put others down to market their own. From one beef producer to another. Good job. Regards, Tom. Tom, of course, from Remley Custom Beef, who was on the show last year. Tally in New Mexico writing in, Greg, do you listen to your own show? During the December embedded correspondence segment, Doug from Texas mentioned bluntly that he was ready to release a rub to retail. You should check your own show out sometimes. It's a pretty good listen. Podcast listener only. Love the show. Regards, Tally. Thank you, Tally. I missed it. I don't recall Doug ever saying that he had a rub ready to go for retail. I just don't. But I missed it. And Tally made sure that I missed it. And Doug made sure that I missed it. And I think Rusty also wanted to make sure I missed it, but he didn't. Because he didn't want to disrespect me like everybody else wanted to. So, Tally, thank you for pointing out my deficiency in paying attention to my Texas embedded correspondent. I think that's going to do it. Let me move these things out of the way, and we will segue over here, and we'll call it an evening. All the way. Remember when I used to go, oh, I can't get up there. I got to remind myself, call the place tomorrow. See about my high register. I got to get my high register back. Not like high register Sean, but high register. If you don't, you might not get the reference I just made there. All the way back in the first hour, it was Malcom Reed out of Barbecue Right and Killer Hogs competition team. After Killer Hogs, after Malcom Reed, it was Katina Desjardins. Katina Eats Kilos, KatinaEatsKilos.com. You can follow her at Katina Eats Kilos on all the social media platforms. And follow her over on YouTube, Katina Eats Kilos. No, youtube.com/@Katina Eats Kilos. Second hour, Sam the Cooking Guy, thecookingguy.com. And we almost had Dirk and Jody from the Rib Cook-Off Association. We're going to get a little NBBQA recap as well right off at the top, but we'll have to reschedule that because we had a little technical difficulty in front. Again, podcast listener, you will never know that. It will be a seamless, short segment that you're just learning about now that there was an issue that we struggled with for 5 or 6 minutes. But you won't know that because I love it. Big show planned for you next week. Meathead is in. Robert Moss is in. And we have it's either 1 or 2 guests in the second hour as well. Locked and loaded, gang. You're not going to want to miss it. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is your program host, the proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Yo, pod! This is Meat Mitch, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.